What's your name?
He didn't work. He does know. That was good daycare.
Okay. Is he your neighbor? Remember that day when your dog got injured? Yes. You remember? It's playing in the backyard?
Yes.
Did you offer in your backyard? Did you offer him a lollipop?
Yes, but I put it through the fence.
Did you offer him a lollipop?
Yes.
And did he take the lollipop?
Yes.
Did he come around in your backyard?
No.
He was never in your backyard?
Yes, but
How did he get there?
climb the fence.
And what happened when he got there?
We shook him for a little, then he picked him up and threw him up in the air and broke his leg.
What did you say to him when he did that?
Nothing.
What did you do?
I picked up Gizmo
And where did he go?
and we were back home.
And he did. And you took your dog Gizmo to the doctor?
Correct.
And he had a broken leg?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you want Miss Moore to pay for the vet bills?
Correct.
I'm listening.
I did not become aware of the situation until she had come over to my house to let me know what was going on. I talked to my son, and he said that her son told him that if he'd climb the fence, that he would give him a sucker and they could play.
So he's over in the backyard?
Mm-hmm. And
Alright.
my son did say that he picked up the dog, that her son asked him to put the dog down, and my son did that. However, he did not throw her dog at
Well, how do you
all.
think the leg got broken?
I believe that he did drop her dog. A dog that weighs 4 pounds has a leg like a toothpick, so I'm sure it did break. That's,
Okay.
I believe that.
So either way, whether he dropped him or threw him,
I offered to pay the bills. I gave her my cell phone number. I asked her to please call me when the dog was done so that I knew what was going on. She's my new neighbor. I just moved in.
so what was the problem?
The problem started when she tried to press criminal charges on my child.
No,
And that's actually in the police report that I have with me. She had told the police a completely fabricated story. The police
Well,
came...
what did you do after the dog? You took the dog to the vet.
After I picked the dog up, went in the house, and immediately went over to her house. My husband held the dog for me. I went over to her house and explained to her what had happened. She told me that's not possible. Her son was in his bedroom, and that is not true. He was just in my backyard, and I told him to go home.
Okay, well, maybe she didn't know that.
We went into the backyard. He wasn't in there, so he was in the garage. And she asked him, and he said yes, he did pick the dog up and
Dropped
drop the dog.
Okay.
And I told her, I said, you're going to be responsible for these vet bills. I said, I don't have the money. She looked at me and said, well, I'm a single mom, so maybe it's best to put the dog to sleep and I will buy you a new one. I immediately looked at her and said, that's not how this works. This is my dog. I mean, he's my baby. We're not going to put him to sleep.
Did you go over there, Miss Crowther, angry?
No, I did not raise my voice at her.
You don't have to raise your voice.
I was upset. I was bawling.
Okay.
I was upset.
Okay. I mean, I can imagine that you were upset, and I can imagine that you were not calm when you spoke to her. You may not have been screaming at her. You may not have been cursing at her. I don't know. But I assume, based upon just the way you phrased it to me today, that you did not go over there in a neighborly-like way.
Right.
Well, that was wrong. This is not something that's done maliciously.
Right.
So then you should have taken it down a notch. Right?
Right.
You owe her an apology.
I'm sorry if I upset you.
You should have taken it down a notch. She didn't do anything.
Right. I didn't become enraged until she told me to put my
just
dog
a second.
to sleep.
Enraged is a relative term. If you went over there and said, gee, that was just a real bad accident, I think that your little boy was responsible for my dog's broken leg. You know, I'm going to take the dog to the vet. You know, we're going to be able to handle this. That's one way of putting it. Another way of putting it is to go over there with screaming ninnies on, you know, because your dog is injured. I got it. But I think, at least with her, you overreacted. She said she'd pay the vet bill. What's the vet bill?
Well, the problem
She
is
said she'd pay the vet bill. What's the vet bill?
$364.25.
That's a hefty bill for her to pay, but if she said she would pay it, it's her responsibility and she's going to take care of it. Did you call the police?
Yes.
Why?
Because I was informed that I had to have a police case number in order to file a civil claim in court.
Oh, I don't know who's giving you legal advice. Certainly not any reputable person I know. You don't need a police report in order to file a small claims case.
I don't understand if I said I would pay it, why she would have to file a small claims case.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
She was only going to pay the initial bill. She told me she would not pay to have the cast removed. She flat told me, I'm only going to pay the $299. And I says, what about the remaining cost? She told me, too bad, I've talked to an attorney and you're not getting any more than that.
Actually, she told me she wanted to take her dog to the vet weekly for the next 6 months.
The-
And she wanted me to pay for that.
The vet,
Just don't
the
go
vet
to-
required that he come in every week to have the cast looked at so that it didn't get infected or anything
Whatever,
happened.
the whole bill was $364.25. Judgment for the plaintiff, $364.25. When you have a new neighbor, you try to handle things reasonably. She seems like a nice lady. Now you're at odds with each other and you share a backyard. That's terrible. And you have two kids who would probably play very nicely together. You know, they're two nice little boys. See if you can go have a cup of coffee together. It would probably be a very good idea. You're going to live there for a long time?
Plan to.
All right, so we got off to a bad start. See if you can make better.
Okay.
You'll be happier. That's all.
Thank you.
Sarah Ali says she was punched in the face at Dan Dugan's nightclub. Sarah says the culprit was one of Dan's bouncers.
Miss Ali, it is your claim that you and a boyfriend were at defendant's club and you were, without provocation, assaulted by an employee of his. And the defendant's position is that you were intoxicated and that any injuries that you sustained as a result of your own intoxication. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. When,
On May 9th of this year,
how old are you?
I'm 21.
And what do you do?
I go to school and I do customer service.
What school do you go to?
OSU.
What is
Ohio
that?
State.
You a full-time student?
Part-time.
And you work part-time or full-time?
Part-time.
Who's your boyfriend? Is he here?
He's right there.
How old is he?
He's 22.
Does he go to school also?
Yes.
Now, on the 9th of May, who were you at this club with?
I was with him. With
Just the
my
two of you?
boyfriend. Just two of us.
Had you been to this club before?
I've been there once before.
What time did you arrive there?
I arrived there about 11:40.
Where had you been before that evening?
Before that evening, I've been to the movies.
With your boyfriend?
Yes.
And from the movies, you went to the club?
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
Okay. At the time when we got there, we were just having fun, just around there, and then it got about 2 o'clock. It was time for everybody to go home, and we were about to leave. And then one of the security guards, he was gonna open the back door for us to leave, and all of a sudden, I heard another security guard yelling behind us. He came and he said, "I know you two heard me calling you back there. Why are you ignoring me?" And my boyfriend nicely said that, "I'm sorry we didn't hear you, but we are leaving right now." And then he said, "No, you can't go because I know you were ignoring me and you need to you were ignoring me." Then he grabbed my arm. And when he grabbed my arm, I yanked my arm off him and told him, "Please don't ever touch me again." And as soon as I said that, he must have got mad and he grabbed both of us and pushed us against the wall real hard.
Shh, don't say anything.
When he pushes against the wall real hard, like it hurt my back. And then all of a sudden it happened so fast that he hit me and I must have dropped because I don't remember exactly what happened. I heard noises, but I couldn't see. I remember my boyfriend grabbing me. When he grabbed me, we were pushed out from the back door. And then we heard all noises and I heard my boyfriend call the police and the ambulance for me. And then when the cops arrived, he asked us what happened. And when my boyfriend
Can I
tried,
see the police report?
sure.
Is the security guard still in your employ?
No, ma'am, he's not.
What's his name?
I know him as Big Ant.
Big Ant?
Yes.
How long did he work for you?
It's perhaps a year or so.
Well, Mr. Dugan, you pay your employees on the books?
Sometimes.
Did you pay Big Ant on the books or off the books? Look at me.
Yes, ma'am.
On the books or off the
He
books?
was paid cash at the end of every night. I do not know if he reported it.
Well, I'm just asking you because if you paid him on the books, then you'd have to have a name other than Big Ant.
Yes, ma'am.
You thought this was going to be easy?
No, ma'am.
It's not going to be easy
Yes, ma'am.
because you weren't there that night
No, I wasn't.
and you don't know what happened. Hopefully,
I was home with my pregnant wife, who was 2 weeks away from giving birth, ma'am.
listen, they're good for you.
Thank you.
And I hope everything turned out okay. But right now you have this gentleman who I assume wants to tell me what he saw because he was there that night. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll be up there in a second. I want you to make sure you got it all straight in your head. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any other reports that you have?
No, ma'am. I have some pictures of the incident that
I would like to
happened
see
my
them.
eye.
You were treated at the hospital for
For my eye.
eye. You had a laceration under your eye, according to the police. Somebody Socked you in the eye.
Right.
Is that the only injury that you sustained?
Yes.
Jones.
On what date did Big Ant terminate your employee?
As of that night, not heard from him since.
When you say as of that night, is that because he didn't return to work on the 10th? Or because you told him not to return to work on the 10th?
He left before the police arrived, or when the police arrived.
And you know that from this gentleman?
He and other employees.
Why did Big Ant take off?
Have no idea, Your Honor.
Oh. Mr. Jones, how long have you been in Mr. Dugan's employ?
On and off for about 5 years.
In what capacity?
I work with the bands that work there on a particular night, specifically Sunday nights.
What do you mean you work with the bands?
I'm also a member of the band also.
How many hours were you working that night?
I usually arrive at the club early, about 8 o'clock, and then the band usually starts performing anywhere between 10:30 and 11 o'clock at night.
When you're playing with the band, do you have any alcohol?
No, I don't drink at all.
Tell me what you observed on the 9th of May.
At around 2:15, anywhere between 2:15 and 2:30, we asked that security start having people leave the bar because by law, everybody has to be out of the bar by 2:30. Also, what happens is the bar staff will not count any money until all the patrons are out of the bar. Well, they were walking the other direction,
They were walking in what direction?
toward the side door, which is basically like an emergency exit. Big Ant is telling them, hey, you got to go out. We have to leave now. You have to go this way. Well, he said it 5 or 6 times. By the time he gets up to them, they get together. Some words were exchanged. I don't know exactly what was said, but all I know is I seen a hand come up, which looked like a female hand. He was scratched, and there was a ruckus in between her and her boyfriend and Big Ant. And it wasn't a punch. It was more or less like an open hand smack like that. But he's a big guy, so it may have caused some damage. But it looked like she attacked him first.
Well,
That's
you
not
didn't,
true.
but shh, Mr. Jones, you didn't actually see that.
Yes, I did. From where I was standing, what I could see, yeah.
Where you were standing, what you could see. Now, you're equivocating. The one thing you didn't equivocate about was you saw Big Ant hit her. It looked like with an open hand somewhere around her face. That you said you saw.
Yes.
Well, an open hand doesn't cause this kind of damage. Okay. Let's go back to what you saw at the beginning. You said that you saw what appeared to be a female hand. Is that what you told me?
Yeah, going up like this, coming down at him.
Well, how many females were standing there, Mr. Jones?
There was only one.
So describe what a female hand looks like, Mr. Jones.
Well, I mean, the female hand is not nearly as big as a man's hand in most cases, is what I think. I could
So
be wrong.
there were 3 people there.
Right,
Is that right? Big Ant, this young lady, and her boyfriend.
right.
So when you say to me, I saw what appeared to be a female hand, of necessity, it would have to be the plaintiff, unless her boyfriend has feminine hands. Is that right, Mr. Jones?
Could be, could not be.
Well, I mean, by a process of elimination, if there are 3 people standing there, unless, according to you, Big Ant scratched himself, sir, it would have to be one of the other 2 people,
Right,
right?
yes.
I'm having too much fun. Now, did you wait around for the police to arrive, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I was still there.
Did you observe the ambulance?
I seen the ambulance pull up, yes.
So you knew that the police were treating this as a serious incident.
Yes.
Is that right?
Well, if they were called, yes.
And if they were treating this as a serious incident, clearly they were treating this young lady as the victim.
Right.
And certainly, based upon what you told me, you observed that this young lady was the aggressor in this incident. Is that right?
Yes, they both were.
No, you didn't say both. I said who was the aggressor. Based upon what you told me, she was the aggressor. Is that right? And you would want to be a good citizen. You are a good citizen, aren't you, Mr. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you explain to me how the police report is silent with regard to your statement to the police that she was the aggressor and scratched him?
No policeman ever came and talked to me.
Well, do you think that the police have some sort of crystal ball? If you have information that this employee of the club that you know for a year was the real victim, and there were a lot of people there, you think it's a good idea to go up to the police and say, listen, I saw the whole thing. She scratched him first. Look at his face. Well, the police report doesn't say anything about Big Ant having any scratches on his face.
Well, he wasn't there to make a report.
Even more of a reason for someone who witnessed the whole process to go up to the police and say, listen, the guy took off, but he was really not responsible. She was responsible. She assaulted him. Isn't that right, Mr. Jones?
Yeah.
Sit down.
Can I make one statement?
Anything else you want to say to me, Mr. Dugan?
I don't think so, Your
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff is now requested $3,000. That's all.
Adam Johnson versus View. Step forward.
Chad Johnson is suing his former friend, 21-year-old Casey View, for loans to get his car out of impound and to have it repaired.
Who is this person?
This is my sister.
Is she a witness to these
She is.
proceedings? Did she know she was coming to court today?
She knows.
Where's the rest of her outfit?
That was the most professional clothing she could find, I guess.
You don't have a pair of long pants?
I do, but I assume this is appropriate since it's sold in stores.
Since it's what?
Sell in stores.
Sold in like business apparel stores.
Yes,
Is what
this is
she
apparel.
meant.
Different kind of business, I guess.
Do you go to church?
No, I'm a Christian.
Did you ever go to church?
Yeah.
Did you ever go to church?
Yes, I did.
Would you wear that outfit to church?
No, I wouldn't.
No. You know, I just want to know where your head was at. Now, you claim you loaned him some money twice. He was a friend of yours.
Correct.
He says that on one occasion there was no money exchanged, even though you had contemplated it because you needed some money to get his car out of impound. He says that he never received the money. And the second loan, which was a small one to fix a fuel pump on his car, he paid you by letting you have his computer. Do I have that right?
That's correct.
What is your sister a witness to?
She's the one who loaned me the 200.
Does she have bank statements to show me that?
She does not have a bank account. She just cashes her check.
I'm hungry. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, well, I do have a bank statement.
Just tell me what the money was for. He was your friend. Let's go. When was it?
Okay, it was on 5/7. I pulled out $200 from my account to loan him to get his car out of impound.
Fred,
And a few weeks after that,
did you give it to him?
the money, I didn't personally hand it to him. I left it on some DVDs because I had to go to work that day.
No,
And
he
he
left it
came
outside.
over.
Shh. Hey,
I
you left it on top of DVDs where?
right by my front entrance at the door. I put it actually under a case. I have a DVD booklet. I put the $200 underneath the DVD booklet and left my door unlocked. And I said, "It's
Great, it's gone.
right."
He never got it. Next.
And then a few weeks later, he called me up saying this car wouldn't start. I went over and looked at it, and I didn't have the proper tools. So I said, "Well, I'll use my AAA to get the car towed to my house so I could take it."
Well, can you use your AAA in order to have somebody else's car towed?
Well, I didn't charge him labor.
No, I'm just asking you a question. You have AAA. Are you allowed to use your AAA to get a friend's car towed?
Yes, you are.
You are.
Yes.
Why would anybody? One person in the United States should have AAA, and everybody else should use it. Okay. So you used your AAA to get his car towed to your house.
Correct.
And
Found out that the fuel pump was no longer working. So I told him that, and I said, "I will do the work for you. I won't charge you any labor, but you have to buy the part." And he agreed to that. So a
now,
few days.
had you had a discussion about the previous money that you allege you loaned to him?
Yes.
Because at that time, he had already, according to you, taken you for $200, and now
Right.
it's $200 plus
Right.
parts.
What happened was, he hasn't paid. He didn't pay me back yet. When car repair had, and I said, originally I had said that.
Just a sec. Do you see what happens, sir, when you're trying to fun with me? You get to trip over your tongue. I actually do enjoy watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Every once in a while, it's part of the pleasure of my business. Let's start again.
Okay.
He hadn't given you the money back that you had previously, according to you, loaned to him.
Correct.
Now you're going to advance him money. You used your AAA, you got the car towed to your house, and the car needed a fuel pump, and you were going to advance him the money for the fuel pump, despite the fact that he had not paid you back an initial $200 loan. So far, is that correct?
That is
now
correct.
you're going to
Yes.
explain to me why, with trying not to trip over your tongue.
Okay, there's a very good reason for that. He was telling me that he was at risk of losing his job because he could not get to work because he did not have a car. So if he lost his job, he would not be able to pay me back. So I made the proposal. I said, tell you what, you give me $50 out of every paycheck. I will go get the part and I will put it in your car and then you can get to work. So that's what I did. He agreed to those terms.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a technician. That's what I do.
What kind of technician?
I'm automated conveyor systems.
Who do you work for?
Super value.
How long?
I've been there for 5 years.
What do you do for a living, Mr. View?
I am a customer service manager at Walmart.
How long have you worked for them?
About 7 months.
When did the plaintiff put a fuel pump in your car?
I would say May.
May of 2010.
Yep. Around my birthdays.
Yep is not an answer.
Yes. Your
Yes
Honor.
is an answer. Yep goes with that outfit.
The 200 he says he loaned me
Get the 200. He left the door unlocked. Somebody else took it. What's next?
for the fuel pump. It's true, he did fix my car and tow it with his AAA, but our agreement was that he would take my laptop as collateral, which he did. And then about a month later, there was a guy coming into town for Pride, which was Gay Pride we were having, which was apparently his crush. And he told me not to talk to the guy. And I went over to the guy to talk to him, which upset him. So he decides to ask for his money back.
Just a second. Where's your computer?
He has my computer. I gave
Your
it to him.
laptop?
Yep, my laptop.
Do you have his laptop?
I do not have his
Yep,
laptop.
yep,
He told me it
over
was
there.
stolen. He told me it was stolen.
If it was
I
stolen,
do
I
not
would
have
have
his
filed a
laptop.
police report.
Just a second. Did he give you his laptop?
He did not give me his laptop.
Did you ever have possession of his laptop?
I never had possession of his laptop.
Well, what's the story about the laptop?
He asked if he could use the laptop as collateral to do the fuel pump. I said, yes, you can. But supposedly, a few days later, his laptop got stolen.
If it was stolen, I would have filed a police report.
And it was a $200 laptop. I don't think you can file a police report for something that small.
Don't answer him. I want to see the bill for the fuel pump.
Sure. I have that right here.
Fuel pump was $269?
Yes.
When did he put the fuel pump in your car?
It took him like
When?
2 weeks. I'm not sure. May?
You owe him $269.24 for the fuel pump.
Why do I owe him? The only reason why he's doing this is because I wouldn't sleep with him.
I don't care.
I have
That's-
paper laptop
Listen.
and the original receipt.
Listen to me, my friend. You owe him $269 for the fuel pump. Is that car still working?
It is, but he has my laptop, like I
I
said.
don't believe it.
Well, it
I
says
don't
on
believe
paper
it.
that he's willing to accept my laptop.
Just a second. When you give somebody collateral, that doesn't mean that you've paid for it.
Well, he has my laptop. He took it as
You owe
collateral.
him $269 for the fuel pump. Goodbye. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
17 Love says fellow schoolmate, 17-year-old Alex Kinsel, damaged her car when he jumped through the sunroof. Tiffany says Alex was attempting to assault her boyfriend.
Are you Miss Janikowski?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is your son,
Yes.
whose name is
Alex Kinsel.
Alex?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Good. Did you give him a good poke?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. I saw that. It was subtle, but he got it. I'm impressed. Alex,
Yes, ma'am.
I do want you to understand that this is going to be an unpleasant morning for you.
Okay.
Your mother is aware of that, but I'm sure that lately you've had a couple of unpleasant moments with your mother, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You weren't there,
No, ma'am.
and you weren't there.
No, ma'am.
So why don't you have a seat? You're just the question really of liability. And in your case, a question of ownership of the car that was allegedly damaged by Alex
Yes, ma'am.
when he decided to assault your boyfriend,
Yes, ma'am.
this young man, I assume.
Yes.
The only problem was your boyfriend was sitting in your car,
Yes.
and your car had a sunroof. So Alex, in order to get to,
Tyler.
climbed up on the,
I jumped into the sunroof. I didn't climb.
jumped from the pavement
Yes.
into the sunroof,
Yes, ma'am.
sort of like Spider-Man. Faster than a speeding bullet, right? Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Kind of mixing out
Yes.
heroes, but that's it.
That's actually one of them.
Yeah,
Superman,
yeah.
Spider-Man. So you were able to do that, right?
Yes, ma'am. When you're mad and the adrenaline's rushing, sometimes you do things you don't expect you can do.
So now you want him to pay for the damage that he allegedly caused to your car, right? Alex says through his mother that he's very sorry for assaulting Tyler, which he freely admitted in juvenile court, and he was placed on probation.
Yes.
So he's paid for that crime, and he's sorry he did that, but he didn't damage the car
No, ma'am.
because, like Superman, he was able to bound from the sidewalk through the sunroof to get to Tyler without ever touching the car. Right? So now, Alex, what?
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm just picturing it.
I want you to, I tried to draw a word picture to you to get you interested in what's going
I'm
on.
very interested.
Good. So, why don't you tell me why you decided to assault Tyler?
Almost a year ago, my friend Kevin was killed, Kevin Farrell. And it was due to the fact that Tyler had robbed someone and placed the blame on Kevin.
A year before this happened,
Yes, ma'am.
who killed your friend?
Lee,
Was he ever apprehended for this murder?
he was apprehended and he got criminal confinement and is still in courts right now, I believe,
Was he convicted
of criminal confinement.
of
They-
criminal confinement? What is criminal confinement? I never heard of that.
When they hold them against their will in a car with weapons.
You know these people?
Unfortunately, yes.
What, all these gang people?
No.
Just criminals?
Yes.
Oh, you're terrific. Okay, so according to you, he's responsible for your friend's murder.
Yeah, if it wasn't for him, my friend would still be alive right here now.
Okay, so that's why you were angry with him.
Yes.
Is that why you assaulted him?
That's one of the reasons. They also provoked me
How did they provoke you?
by flicking me off, saying stuff, parking right next to my car the day it happened.
You mean the day that this assault happened?
Yes.
So they parked next to your car. She parked next to your car?
Yes. And she told me that Tyler had hit her that day, and that angered me as well. And he's supposed to be out of school 10 minutes earlier than all the other students, so he's actually trespassing
Step up here. Why is he supposed to be out 10 minutes earlier?
because there's so many people after him for the reason what he did.
You have a special schedule at school, Tyler?
Yes, ma'am. For safety precautions, I leave 10 minutes early at the end of the day, and I come 10 minutes late every morning.
And he did not do that. So if he
So
would
for all of those reasons, you decided that you were going to assault him.
yes.
Ma'am, a couple of weeks earlier, he had spit in my face at school also before all this had happened and
Did you
got
do
trouble.
that?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
It's his fault my friend's dead.
No.
Okay, so if you assaulted him a week or two before, why are you complaining about being flipped off?
It just angers me.
Are you seeing a psychiatrist? Think you should?
No, ma'am.
You should. He should be seeing a psychiatrist regularly. You understand that? You don't believe that? Step up with him, please. He should be in therapy.
I
Intensive
don't believe
therapy.
so, because once a person's been harassed off and on, a human being can only take so much.
Listen
and
to
he
me.
was at his breaking
Listen to me.
point.
Did you know that he spit in his face 2 weeks before?
No, I did not.
You see, somebody who's being harassed is usually frightened. So they stay away from the people who are harassing them or threatening them. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But when they go to the school,
He is the aggressor. When he assaults him, he becomes the aggressor.
I understand.
And that has nothing to do with harassment. He told me that he spit at him 2 weeks before because he believes he's responsible for his friend's murder. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. But Tyler had also, off and on, since the incident, has been harassing Alex.
Listen to me. I'm giving you a friendly word of advice from someone who has been in the juvenile justice system now for almost 30 years.
I know that.
If you don't get him involved in therapy, you're going to be visiting him every other Sunday, and you're going to have to go through a metal detector to do it. I want you to trust me on this. And if you don't, when you look back at your portfolio of photographs of this time in his life, 20 years from now, you're going to say, you know, wouldn't have hurt
No,
if I had him talk to somebody and get out all this anger.
Yes, ma'am.
Because his anger has to do with some event that happened a year ago that he hasn't been able to get over. And I see pictures of the cars. I see a lot of damage to this car, Alex.
Yes.
Damage to this car that would suggest to me that you were not able to leap over and get onto the sunroof as you indicated you did.
Your Honor, I did not damage a car. I have a witness that was right there and saw the whole thing.
I'm prepared to hear the witness. You may have a seat. Step up.
And she had also...
Shh. Tell me your name.
Vicky Nofel.
Ms. Nofel, this happened at the school. What were you doing at the
I was
school?
picking up my daughter after school. My car was parked in front of the car that involved in
And
the
tell me
incident.
exactly what you saw.
He didn't actually climb on the car. He held onto where the door is and was in the sunroof. There was no hitting, kicking of the vehicle, and there had been damage to the car before. It
How
was
do you know that, my dear?
well, my daughter goes to that school also,
Yes.
and Tiffany had stated to her that she had hit a deer and it had damaged the side of her car.
These are footprints. Deer don't have feet. And I cannot imagine, madam.
I understand.
I cannot imagine the kind of assault that he pled guilty to occurred without his feet touching the car if he's in the sunroof. Could you imagine that? It just doesn't make sense. It defies credulity that he can assault somebody with his fists while poised on top of a car, unless this is a toy car. Is it a toy car? No. Without his feet hitting the car. You understand that?
I understand.
Good. Now you can sit down.
Excuse me, Judge Judy.
Yes.
We do have a police report, and there is no mention of any damages in the police report.
I'd like to see the police report. This only has to do with the damage to this young man.
Well, I assume that it should have been in there.
No, it does refer to another number that you didn't get. Can I see an estimate, please, on the car? What year car is this?
A 97
97 what?
Toyota Avalon.
Did you have it fixed?
We don't have the money to fix it.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
In court on March 26, 2005, with the juvenile hearing for the attack, Mrs. Borloff was asked if she had any estimates for the damages, and she had said no, she did not, that she just had the car fixed, and she wanted to be reimbursed.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you can step up.
And she said she had it fixed by Peterson's Garage in Michigan City.
Is that right? I mean, that's easy for me to call.
She's
No,
lying,
did-
Judge.
No,
She
I
did
brought
state
that
that.
estimate with me.
She did not have that estimate that day in court.
Are you telling me now that you did not have the car fixed?
No, ma'am.
Then why would she state that she did?
You have a copy of those minutes?
I asked for them
Do
at
you
our
have a
court.
copy of the
No,
minutes?
ma'am, I don't.
Oh, okay.
They said they were not available, otherwise I would have had them.
Okay. Whether she had the car fixed or she has the estimate, your son's got to pay for the damage. Stop making excuses for him.
I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to state the facts.
First, you tell me that your son caused no damage because that's what he told you.
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
brought a witness to tell me that Superman didn't cause any damage when he assaulted Tyler. Then you tell me that's well because she already had the car fixed and all she wanted to do was be reimbursed. I'm telling you that you better start thinking about accepting total
I understand
responsibility
that.
for his bad behavior.
But he told me
should
there
not-
was no damages, so.
Well,
Your Honor,
what?
there were tons of people around the car. How I'm not on the side of the car or nothing, you know. I jump into the sunroof. I'm not
Dad,
kicking the
listen
car.
to me, Alex.
Yes.
Sometimes life isn't fair, my dear, and sometimes the just stand up on your own 2 feet and take your hands off the table. Sometimes the justice system is not as fair as you would like it to be if you're a criminal.
17-year-old Tiffany Borlov says fellow schoolmate, 17-year-old Alex Kinsel, damaged her car when he jumped through the sunroof. Tiffany says Alex was attempting to assault her boyfriend.
When you're a criminal and you commit certain acts of vandalism and you say, well, I did that, but I didn't do that. Court's going to say, listen, I don't have time to figure this out. You jumped up on her car. Common sense suggests that when you jump up on a car and you assault somebody to the extent that you plead guilty to an assault, serious assault, and according to you, my adrenaline was flowing so that you're able to do things. That's what you told me. So I was able to do things. You never know what your strength is. I don't have to say to myself, well, maybe a deer caused one of these dents, and maybe you caused one of these dents. It's your fault. You're responsible. I can't find the deer. You're it. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $200. That's all.
Susan and Lloyd Weaver say the father of their daughter's former best friend, Mark Cooley, owes for a Hawaiian vacation.
Oh, my goodness. Do you really want to be here?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Weaver, this is your complaint. Your daughter and the defendant's daughter were friends, and you were taking a trip to Hawaii. According to your complaint, you invited Mr. Cooley's daughter to accompany your family on the trip. And the arrangement was that if she were going to go with you, her mother and father, who are divorced, were going to split the cost of her basic trip.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that right?
That's correct.
And it is your claim that Mr. Cooley, who was her father, did not pay for his half of her trip.
Yes.
Mr. Cooley said that he never had a contract with you, right?
That's correct.
That he was sort of presented with a fait accompli. They fell on some hard financial times. Otherwise, he certainly would have wanted his daughter to have the way he did have. She did go with you. His defense is that he never had a contract with you. When were you planning this trip?
February of 2004 is when we first contacted them about planning the trip.
When you say them, who did you contact?
I contacted Brittany's mother because Brittany lives with her mom, and we discussed the option of her being able to go with us.
And what was the arrangement that you made with her mother?
I told her mother that we'd be happy for Brittany to accompany us because she was our daughter's best friend, and that if she would pay for just the airline flight and then the expenses of the activities, such and etc. that we did there, and that we would be glad to pay for all food and then any of the other miscellaneous expenses. And then her mother said that she would have to contact Brittany's father to see if he'd pay for half and let us know. Then she called us and said that she'd spoke with her ex-husband, and he agreed.
Did you speak with him?
We spoke with him 30 days before the trip. He came over to our house. Not that date, not that time.
When did you go on the trip?
December.
So practically a year later.
Correct.
And it wasn't until November that you say that you contacted Mr. Cooley. Is that right?
Yes, because we were unable to get a hold of him.
Had you purchased the tickets already?
Yes, ma'am.
So you purchased the non-refundable tickets based upon the conversation you had with Brittany's mother.
Correct.
Now you understand that up until this time you had no contract with Mr. Cooley. Do you understand that?
No, ma'am.
Well, I'm going to try to explain it to you.
Okay.
What you did was you had, at best, a contract with Brittany's mother to pay for half the cost of the trip. Brittany's mother cannot obligate Brittany's father to pay for the other half. She can't say he's going to pay for the other half and in any way obligate him. Do you have a sibling,
Yes, ma'am.
brother or sister?
I have two sisters and a brother.
Okay, let's take the brother. He's easy. What's his name?
Michael.
All right, let's say Michael wanted to have his family room redone. So we went to a contractor, and the contractor said it's going to cost $10,000 to redo your family room. And Michael said, that's fine. I'm going to pay for half, and my sister promised me that she would pay for the other half as a birthday present. So you do this renovation for $10,000. Michael gives him $5,000, and he says, go get the other $5,000 from my sister. What's your first name?
Susan.
Susan. Goes to Susan. Susan says, listen, I told him if I could, one day I would like to make a present of $5,000, but I never agreed to pay you $5,000. I didn't have a contract with you. You want your money, go to Michael. Now do you understand?
I understand that, ma'am, yes.
He may have agreed to something, but up until November, I just want you to understand you had no contract with him.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank
Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me what happened in November.
Well, my husband spoke with him. I don't know if you want to talk to him as far
I
as
sure
that.
do. He's the only one I could speak to if he
Okay.
spoke to him.
I talked to Mr. Cooley about the expenses that we had incurred already purchasing the non-refundable tickets, and that she would need $300 to $400 to pay for the incidental expenses that she would occur as far as the snorkeling, the luau, and that kind of stuff that she would need over there. And he agreed at that time that
What did he say? Not he agreed. What did he say?
he said the trip sounded good, that it was a one-in-a-lifetime trip for her, that it was something that they had never, ever planned for her to do, and that he would pay his half.
He said he would pay his half.
His half.
And are those the words he used?
To the best of my recollection, yes, Your Honor.
Did he give you any money?
No, ma'am.
So when was he supposed to pay you?
He indicated that he had had some problems health-wise, and at the time he was unable to give us any money. And we told him when he got back on his feet, whenever he could pay us monthly payments or whatever have you. But basically, he had us over a barrel. Brittany, we weren't going to disappoint her and not take her.
Now it's your turn.
Well, first of all, I didn't go to their house at all. My conversation with Mr. Weaver was over the phone, and that was only because in August I went on disability, and I was informing him that I was not going to be able to pay. And he had said, quote unquote, well, give me what you can. And if you can't give me anything, then that's fine. Your daughter's going to go anyway. So I mentioned to my daughter that I wasn't going to be able to pay for her trip, and she was going to have to ask her mother to pay for it in its entirety.
Okay. Something that you said to me, Mr. Cooley, however, has an interesting ring to it. You said that you called the Weavers because your financial circumstances changed. You wanted to let them know that you could no longer pay your half. Is that right?
That's true.
Well, that suggests to me, sir, that you had originally told your ex-wife that you would pay for half when she originally called you in February. Are you following what I'm saying
Yes,
to you? Am I correct, Mr. Cooley, that you originally told your ex-wife that you would pay for half of the expense?
But in February of 2004, I was under the impression that I was only going to help her out on her airfare.
Fine. Let's say that's what you were told, that you were going to pay for half the airfare. Not help her out, half, because the words that you used to me were half, right?
Right.
Now, the airfare was how much?
The exact price was $729.43.
So is what you're telling me now, Mr. Cooley, that what your understanding was that you were going to pay for half the airfare, and that's what you agreed to with your former wife? Don't think of what I'm going to say after that, Mr. Cooley. Believe me, you're never going to be able to leapfrog over my mind. Now, is that what you agreed to with your former wife, to pay for half the airfare?
Right. Well, to be honest with you, my correspondent, don't speak, has been through my daughter.
Is that what you promised your daughter?
Correct.
And your daughter, I assume, conveyed that to her mother. Brittany, what did you tell your mother?
Well, I told my mom that I was going on the trip and how much it was.
How much did you tell her it was?
I told her that as far as what I knew, it was $350 that she was supposed to pay.
And you told your father the same thing?
That he was supposed to pay $350 also.
And he agreed to that?
Yes.
Good. Now you can sit down. Okay, Mr. Cooley, let us assume everything that you say is correct, that you were going to pay for half the airfare. Why didn't you pay him?
Well, I in August, I went on disability. And so my whole financial situation changed.
You already said that to me. But at this point, they had non-refundable tickets, and one way or another, your daughter was going to go. Did you ever think, sir, of saying, I have to send the Weavers $50 a month because I agreed to do that? They took my daughter on a trip. I had a contract with them to pay them half, according to you. Not according to them, but according to you, half the airfare for your daughter.
When I gave them the $150, there was somewhat of a agreement that I could pay monthly.
When did you give them $150?
I gave them $150 upon them coming back
Give
from
me
the
the
trip.
date. You have the date?
It's January 6th, Your Honor.
And you cashed that check?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So that's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, 6 months later. And you haven't given them any money since?
Well, in April, the tides had turned because they kind of sent me a threatening letter, or at least I thought it was threatening, informing me that we don't want any ill feelings toward you or your wife. This could our daughter and your daughter's friendship.
They're absolutely right. It's a very good reason for you to send a check and say, I'm sorry, I told you that finances were really tight. I realize that this is my obligation. Here's $50. Here's $30. Here is something to demonstrate that I recognize that this is my obligation. You have a letter like that?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Well, that's the wrong thing. You did the wrong thing, sir. Mr. and Mrs. Weaver, the only contract that I can ascribe to Mr. Cooley is for half of the airfare. And I say that because that's what his daughter says that she told her mother and she told him. So, unfortunately, what?
We sent Mr. Cooley 3 letters advising him that he still owed us money. He sent us a letter back. And in that letter, he said that it's not verbatim.
Show me the letter.
You got it, ma'am?
What you're saying to me is he acknowledges anything more than
Yes,
the
Your Honor, it does.
airfare.
The letter's several pages long, Your Honor. The first page shows that he agreed to pay half.
Well, let
But
me
it just
see.
says to pay half of Brittany's expenses. The whole letter.
Huh?
And, Your Honor, if I may just say one more thing. Brittany's mom paid us the $550.
I don't care what
she
you
owed
did.
us, so she knew that half of it was $550.
Listen
If I
to
just
me.
might say that.
You cannot ascribe anything to him that Brittany's mother knew.
Okay, I won't say anything.
Nothing. If you want to have a contract with somebody, you have to talk to them face to face, or you have to speak to them personally over the phone and then memorialize it in a written document that is signed. Then it's a contract that you have between two people. If you're dealing with children, she could just as easily go to her father and say, listen, I want to be able to go on this trip. It's $200 to go. Will you pay for $200? And he says, sure, I'll pay for $200. And it turns out that it's $2,000. You've already booked the ticket, so you're out $2,000. What am I going to do, put her in jail? Of course not. That's why you don't deal with children when you're making a contract with them.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is all wrong, sir. You say to them, I agree to pay one half of my daughter's expenses. And if I believe what you say it was based on me being employed. Well, that's not true. That's not true, sir. Your agreeing to pay for half of her airfare was not based upon your being employed, because you didn't have that conversation with your daughter. When you said to your daughter, I'll pay for half of your airfare, you didn't say to her, on condition that I'm still working, right?
Right.
Okay. I had no control over my going on disability, which cut my salary in third. So what? What's that their problem? That's your problem, not theirs. What's the nature of your disability?
Stress.
And you came here? I can see from this rambling letter that you are stressed, Mr. Coolidge, so I won't proceed any further. You owe these people an additional $214, and that's giving you every possible benefit of the doubt, sir, that the only thing you agreed to was to pay for one half of her airfare. I mean, I think that if you wanted to be a good guy, you would say to them, listen, I don't want you to be out any money, and I don't want our daughters who were good friends to be estranged, so I'm going to make it my business to see to it that you get the extra $50 a month until it's all paid off. But from a legal perspective, I can't do that. I can find that you agreed to pay for half the airfare. You have already given them $150, leaving a balance of $214. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Parties are excused.
Nuno is suing her daughter, Carolyn Torres, for a loan to bail her grandson out of jail. Juanita says she may lose her home to foreclosure.
Ms. Nuno, this is your daughter, and according to your complaint, you made your daughter a series of loans. She hasn't paid you back. Your daughter says, yes, it's true that you gave her some money. They were gifts. You do that to all your relatives, and you're singling her out for repayment of these gifts because she had a fight with your other daughter. Is that right, Miss Torres?
Yeah, that's right.
What did I just say?
I owe her money, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They were gifts. They were gifts. I heard what you just said.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Did you have anything to drink today?
No, I don't drink.
Use any drugs today?
No, I don't.
Well, then explain to me what your problem is, Miss Torres.
I don't have a problem.
Who is that?
My kid's father.
Do you live with him?
When I want to, I don't know, when I want him there, I guess.
Step up, sir. What's your name?
Anthony Torres,
How long have you been with Miss Torres?
20, 21 years, off and on.
Do you work?
Yeah,
Your wife suffer from a disability?
no.
Well, is there something wrong with her today? She seems to be out of sorts today.
Well, because I don't think she should be suing me, that's why.
Why did you agree to come here?
I don't know.
Did you discuss coming here with your wife, Mr. Torres?
Yeah,
Why did she come?
because it's a lawsuit and she needs to come.
Juanita Nuno says her daughter, Carolyn Torres, owes for a loan for bail. Juanita says she after he was arrested for burglary.
Now, if you've been with Mrs. Torres for 20 some odd years, then you are the father of this young man who got himself into trouble last year?
Yes, I am.
And the first loan, according to you, Miss Nuno, was for bail for your grandson.
Yes, it was.
What was he arrested for?
The Jack broke into a school.
So he was arrested for burglary.
Yeah.
Did you call and ask her for bail?
Yeah.
What did
But
you
he
say to
called
her?
her first, though. He called and I called her.
Who called?
I think my son called first, and then my niece called me, and then I called her back.
And when you called your mother, what did you say to her?
Bail him out. I don't have the money.
And what did she say to you?
She said, what happened? I explained to her what happened. The Jack broke into a school. So can you bail him out? She does everybody else, so I figured she'd do him.
Why didn't you bail him out?
Like I said, I don't have the money.
Well, how do you support yourself?
By his child support checks.
You live together. Why does he send you child support
Well,
checks?
when I want to get, I'll call him. He doesn't really live with me.
Miss Nuno, You really expect her to pay you back?
Yes.
From what?
She applied for Social Security, and she was supposed
What was the nature of her disability?
She has arthritis in the spine. That's inherited. It comes down the line. All of us have it. So she applied for Social Security disability.
Yeah.
And they were going to grant it to her. All she needed to do was take a physical exam.
So you expected her to pay you back out of her disability from the government?
Well, not only from that, but from my son-in-law. And I believe him because he never lies.
Well, did he promise to pay you back?
He said he would pay me back. He would pay the bonds people, so that would be good enough.
Is that right, sir?
Yeah, that's right.
So why didn't you pay him?
I intend to. I just haven't had the chance to do it.
It's a year and a half ago, almost 2 years. When are you going to do it?
As soon as I can.
So after they didn't $1,600, 6 months later you gave her another $2,000. You want to tell me why?
Because I beat her daughter. That's why. That's exactly what happened. She lent me money to move out because I beat her daughter for stealing my child support check. No, Judge Judy. Yes, that's what happened. I billed Anthony out in November.
You got $1,600, Ms. Nuno. What's the $2,000 for?
For getting out of her house. I was staying with her for 2 months.
Why were you staying there for 2 months?
Because my stupid son, we lost our house in Redlands, so I had to go move in with her because of what he did.
How many other children did you move in with?
5.
How old are your children?
15, 14, 10, and 3. And my son, Anthony, that's 18. He's 18.
You have a 3-year-old child?
Yes, I do.
How did you, with your terrible disability, have a 3-year-old child?
Yes, I don't know how. Well, how else am I going to have a kid? Judge Judy, you wouldn't believe it. You will not believe this. I had her put in a convent in Mexico. I had tried to educate her day one. And you know, that's what she went wrong when she sent me to Mexico. She never should have ever sent me to Mexico when I was 10 years old. Never.
Do you have anything you want to say to me, sir?
He didn't say nothing.
No.
I'm not speaking to
Well,
you.
he's not going to say anything.
I'm not.
You still won't say nothing, though.
I'm not speaking to you.
Well, I'm speaking to you. I'm telling you, he won't say nothing.
Listen to me very carefully, Ms. Torres. You've already shamed yourself in front of a lot of people.
I don't care.
You have a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 10-year-old who can all understand everything that's going around them. I feel very sorry for them, and I guarantee you that if you live alone with your children now, I'm putting in a call to social services to go and monitor your home if these children are in fact living with you. Are they living with her? Are the children living with her?
Yeah,
Well, somebody's going to monitor it. You're not there, is that right?
most of the time, no.
Listen, Ms. Nuno, there is no question in my mind that having spent 10 minutes with your daughter, you had no reasonable expectation that that $2,000 was going to get repaid to you. Maybe the bail money, because you say that you had confidence in your son-in-law, and he says that he agreed to pay you back and he just hasn't gotten around to it yet. Mr. Torres, you have to find something to do with your time other than make children, sir. You have enough children. You have 5 children. And based upon what I've heard, you're not doing too well. And neither are your children. So you have to find some other way of occupying your spare time, like getting a second job, so you can support everybody, so they can all live together and not scam the government anymore. Do you understand me, Mr. Torres? This is all one huge scam you've been living with her. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,600. That's all. Step out.
22-year-old Lorena Villapudua is suing her boyfriend's ex, 24-year-old Magdalena Contreras, for vandalizing her car. Lorena claims Magdalena ripped off the license plate frame.
According to your complaint, the defendant, Ms. Contreras, is boyfriend's ex-girlfriend.
Correct.
They also have a child together.
Right.
How old is that child?
He's 6.
Are you pregnant again?
Yes.
Whose baby is that?
My fiance.
You live together?
Yes.
You only have one child?
Little Rudy, and then this one that's coming on the way.
According to your complaint, you and your fiance were at an open school night at Rudy's school.
Right.
The defendant was there with her mother.
Yes.
There was some sort of an argument that took place, and after that, Miss Contreras vandalized your car.
Yes, because she was upset with him.
Miss Contreras says she didn't do as much as you said she did, just did a little. Is that your defense?
Yes.
Ms. Contreras, that's almost like being a little bit pregnant. It doesn't happen.
Lorena Villapudua says her boyfriend's ex, Magdalena Contreras, vandalized her car. Magdalena claims Lorena provoked her.
Now, I'm going to go to Ms. Contreras because Ms. Contreras doesn't seem to object and seems to acknowledge the fact that she did put her hands on your car. So I'm going to ask her to tell me why.
Because my ex, Rudy, was supposed to take
This
our son.
Rudy?
Yes. He was supposed to take our son to open house, which he didn't. And
Okay. So it was an open school night and Rudy was with his father?
yes,
For how long?
it's joint custody, so every other week he's with his dad.
So he had him for the week.
Yes.
Okay, so we didn't bring him to open school night.
Yeah, he didn't.
So,
So I got upset and I started asking him, why didn't he bring our son? And he said our son rather be with his grandpa. And I just got upset and I started yelling at him.
in the school?
Yeah.
Yes. Why?
Because I was upset. I was hurt that he didn't take our son.
Control yourself. You were making a scene in the school?
Yes.
Well, that's stupid.
I know it's stupid.
Didn't your mother tell you to shut up?
Yeah, she did tell me to shut up, but I didn't
Good
listen
for
to her.
you.
No, she didn't.
Good for you.
She did not.
Shh. Am I the kind of person who needs help from you?
No.
So you created a scene in your son's school, which of course left everybody, including the teachers, the administration, the other parents, with the idea that this child comes from a home where they're not going to let their kids go and visit, certainly, because his mother doesn't know how to control herself.
Well, I was very hurt that he didn't take our son. Our son was
Get over it.
all happy that he was going to go.
Get over it. Did the court grant you joint custody?
Yes.
The court granted you joint custody, then the court clearly had to say, I think that both of these parents are responsible enough to take care of this child an equal amount of time, that they're two good parents, and they made a judgment that he was as good a parent as you were. So that if he's with his father and his father decides not to bring him to open school night, that's none of your business. So let's move on from there. So you got angry, making a scene in the school in front of other people. Then what did you do?
We went into the classroom. The teacher started talking to us, and she was showing us.
Were you behaving at this point?
Yeah.
Good.
I just went to his desk and got his little picture, and then me and my mom took off, and then I seen Lorena's car, and I recognized it, and I just broke off her license plate holder. That's all I did to it. I didn't scratch it or anything else.
Well, tell me exactly the steps that you took. You saw her car while you were driving in your car?
No, I
Or
was
were you
walking to my car.
You were walking to your car, you saw her car.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to bend down. Did you take off the back license plate or the front?
The back, just the holder.
And what did you do with it?
I broke it off, and then I was going to leave it on her window, but I didn't, so I just took off with it.
Can I see photographs of the damage to the car, please?
Yes, you may. I also have a police report,
I'd like to see that too.
and it has a witness, a 13-year-old girl that was standing out near the car.
Well, when you pulled it off, madam, you scratched the paint.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. I didn't
Listen
scratch
to
her
me.
car.
Listen to me. Yes, you did.
No.
Yes, you did. That's why I'm here and you're there.
I didn't scratch her car.
That's why I'm here and you're there.
Your Honor, I seen it.
Just a second. Say nothing. You still have to share custody of this child, I assume.
Yes.
So, she can get mad at me, I don't care. As a matter of fact, I rather like it. You were driving the white truck,
Yes, ma'am.
and you said to your daughter, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Exactly. What did you say to this idiot when she got back into the car?
I told her that, why did you do that? It was uncalled for.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You have an estimate?
I do.
I didn't scratch her car when I broke that off. There's no way that I scratched her car.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Go ahead.
The license plate frame is screwed on.
I know what she did. She
can't-
pulled it off. She went like this in order to get it off, and in doing so, she scratched the car with the license plate. That's what she did. And she keeps saying, I just took off the frame. When you went over to take off the frame, genius, did you have with you pliers?
No.
You had your hands.
Yes.
So you had to pull it.
Mm-hmm.
It was screwed on. When you pulled it, in order to get it off, and you were jiggling it, you scratched around the car. Do you get it?
I didn't scratch your car.
Oh, what an idiot. What an idiot. Listen, do me a favor. You know, she's pregnant now. When she's finished, discuss birth control with her. It's really a shame that we're continuing this. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $618. That's all.
But Carolyn Boone says former lover Peppy Hibbert owes for a loan and storage fees. Peppy is countersuing, claiming Carolyn had him falsely arrested for trespassing.
Miss Boone, you claim that Mr. Hibbert owes you for a series of loans that you made to him in order to help him relocate to another city. In addition, he stored his car or truck or SUV in your home, and you want him to pay storage fees for that. Okay. So you met, and at some point, he asked you out. You went out for dinner. You went out for a movie. You went out for a drink. You went out for something. Or did he just initially ask you for money?
No, it was a 3-day period, kind of a whirlwind romance, if you would. The way he got to my house was by telling me that he was interested in buying one of my cars that I had for sale, that he wanted to come see it. He also said he was a licensed mechanic and could check out this car I was test driving. He tried to get me to go out with him that night.
You're talking too fast.
Okay.
I'm not interested in the social aspect,
Okay,
madam.
right.
I'm interested. You met him on January 6th. When for the first time did he ask you for money?
3 days later, he informed me that the next day he would be moving to the state of Georgia to go to seminary. He said he needed money to get to seminary, that it was a big move, it was a long way away, and I asked him how much. He said $2,000 or $3,000. So I told him that I would be able to loan him too. Normally, I don't walk around with that kind of cash, but I had just cashed a check from a sale of a business that my family owned.
Had you told him about that?
I had showed him a cashier's check for $17,500 from me to me.
Miss Boone,
I know.
what a mistake.
Yeah, I learned you don't do that.
How much money did you give him?
I gave him $2,000 in cash that day. The next day, he said he.
Your Honor, the fact of the matter is,
Don't tell me what the fact. Just tell me about the $2,000.
Miss Boone wanted to get into a relationship with me from day one.
Good. Well, start day one, January 9th. You took $2,000 from her. Is that correct?
She gave me the money as a down payment on my vehicle.
Down?
No.
Just a second. Just a second. Just a second. She gave you $2,000 as a down payment on the car.
Yes, Your Honor.
How? Don't say anything, Miss Boone. How much was the total price of the car?
I told her that I was selling the car for $6,500.
I'm going to ask you questions, so you're going to have to be really quick with your answers.
No problem.
Mr. Hibbert,
No problem.
You think you're smart? Between him and me? You're a kindergartner. I want you to trust me on that. And you don't want to appear foolish here, do you, Mr. Hibbert?
No, Your Honor.
Now, what kind of car was it that you were going to sell her for $6,500?
A 1994 black BMW 325 IS, Your Honor.
Sell it for rebuild. Shh! Stupid! Now, so she gave you $2,000 down payment.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did she ever purchase the car?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, Your Honor.
So you never gave her title to the car?
I let her hold the title in good faith. I did not sign the back, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have the title back?
She didn't want to give it to me back, Your Honor.
Do you have the car? It's the car.
I sold it, Your Honor.
How much did you sell the car for and to whom?
$5,000, Your Honor.
To whom?
To
You're making it up as you're going along, Mr. Hibbert.
No, Your Honor, I'm not.
Yeah.
To an individual in Atlanta, Georgia, that I sold the vehicle to.
Name?
Her name is
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know
Yes,
her.
get it.
I
Right?
don't know her.
Right, I told him.
You told me.
I told him. Who are you ministering to, Mr. Hibbert? I want to know who you're ministering to, sir.
Who am I ministering to?
Yes, you're a minister, aren't you?
Yes, Your Honor.
I want to know who you're ministering to.
Currently, no one, Your Honor.
That's a very good thing, Mr. Hibbert. That's very, very good. Because the truth will set you free, Mr.
Amen.
Hibbert.
Yes,
Why
ma'am.
didn't you give her back her $2,000?
I called her up and told her I would give her $2,000 back.
Oh, here we go. Good.
She said, I don't owe her $2,000, I owe her $4,300. And she maliciously went to the church that's endorsing me.
I don't care whether she went to a church or not.
And they pulled my endorsement, and that's the reason why I called her.
Oh, just a minute. You mean she went to your church and said he's got my $2,000?
No,
And you
that's
should-
not all she said, Your Honor. She said that I did sexual misconduct to her. She said that I took her $4,300 from her, and she said that I trespassed on her property.
You're not supposed to take advantage of people, Mr. Hibbert, if you want to be a minister.
I'm not taking advantage of anyone.
Because in January, you should have sent her back her $2,000. In February, you should have sent her back her $2,000. You took her $2,000. Isn't that right?
I loaned him more than that, and it wasn't
Just a
for
second.
payment.
Listen, did you hear what I said to him?
Yes,
About giving me an upfront?
yes.
Did you have a discussion with him about buying his BMW?
No, I've always driven hand-me-down Cadillacs that my father would give. I'm a Cadillac person. And I have a 2002 Cadillac that I'm buying right now. Okay. I loaned it to him to move to seminary.
Whether it was a loan or whether it was a down payment on a car that he never came through with, he owes you the $2,000, right?
Your Honor, when you go to a car dealership and you put a down payment on the vehicle and you do not continue to make payments, what happens, Your Honor?
You took the car.
They come and take the car from
No,
you,
you
and
took
out
the
of your
car.
money.
You took the car
Yes,
to
Your
Georgia.
Honor, I did, and she knew this up front. She knew that that's what I was doing.
He doesn't owe you anything for storing his car in your carport.
Okay, he said he was going to get it in 1 week. He came back 4 months later to get it.
What I'm telling you is, you could have gotten a tow truck to tow it out, send him a letter, say, if you don't get it out of here
Okay.
in 5 days, I'm getting rid of it. But that kind of favor does not turn into a contract just because you don't want the car. If you don't want the car, they call the garbage man, let him take the car. You don't get storage fees. Do you understand?
I understand what
Good.
you're saying.
Very good. Now, tell me what happened, sir, about this business where you were arrested for trespass.
Once I found out that she went to the church and told the pastor these felonious stories, I then went to North Carolina to get my truck. Now, once I was at the mechanic waiting for my vehicle, the police roll up and arrest me and take me to jail, saying that they
Can
have...
I see a copy of the complaint?
Yes,
Don't
Your
raise
Honor.
your hand, Miss Boone.
Right here, there's the arrest, warrant for arrest, and here's the court where they dismissed the give me a not guilty charge on that, Your Honor.
That's not what it was about.
Okay. Date of the offense, it says here, was February 6th, 2005. What happened on February 6th, madam?
We had a big argument. I was telling him to leave. He would not leave. The only way I finally got him out was to say, okay, I'm leaving. We're both going to walk out. And we did.
I'm not getting the trespass, madam.
Okay. They informed me that the magistrate...
Don't
informed
tell me what the magistrate...
Okay.
I'm asking of Mr. Hibberts, did you complain about to the police?
He was blocking my door, and it was pretty scary at the moment. It was making
And
me
then,
anxious.
listen to me.
Mhm.
Subsequently, the same night, you got back together again.
Yes.
Was there any other conduct by Mr. Hibbert after that, where you told Eve he was blocking the door and he didn't leave, that you reported to the police by way of the trespass?
No.
That was it.
Yes.
And when did you report that to the police?
The day that I filed the monetary charges, he was already in custody. And that day. It was May 27th.
Right.
Okay.
It was May
Okay.
27th. So what you're telling me is you had this argument on February 6th, wherein you fought with him because he didn't come back. He was supposed to come back, and he locked the door, and that was a trespass because you
Yes.
were told him to leave. You ultimately both left together, and then later that night you reconnected and got together.
Yes.
You didn't report that to the police February 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, the month of February.
Right.
Month of March, you didn't report it to the police. March, April, May, you didn't report it to, you reported to the police 4 months later. That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
You just lost your $2,000.
Well,
You just lost your $2,000, Miss Boone. I'm going to tell you why. Not because I think he deserves a break, but because when people abuse the justice system, I'm not talking about civil court. Civil court, you take him to. Civil court, he owes you $2,000. You take him to civil court. But when you bring out a detective to take a statement, you took the time of at least one policeman. You took the time of a magistrate. You took the time of a court. You took the time of court officers, clerks to draw up your papers. You took all that time because you felt as if he didn't do the right thing by you. And you were going to get him good.
No.
You weren't just going to get him for the $2,000. You were going to get him good because that's not a trespass, madam.
The magistrate advised me to do it, and it was...
Listen to me. That's baloney. That's baloney. I don't believe it. It's hearsay. What you did was vindictive. And I don't care if what you do is vindictive. I mean, vindictive conduct, as far as I'm concerned, somebody who really is an amoral person parading around as a preacher. That you can be as vindictive as you like. But when you abuse the justice system, that's something that I won't tolerate. You weren't scared, madam, of him, frightened of what he was going to do between February 6th, when he locked the door, and later that evening when you got back together. Now, when you say you got back together and reconnected, do you want to tell me what that means, Mr. Hibbert? Does that mean that you went out for dinner together? Does that mean you had a drink intimate together? What does that mean?
I've never been intimate with this lady.
Okay. What does it mean when you said to me you got back together?
We got a hotel room and stayed there.
All right.
Okay,
I ran it. So what you're telling me is after you got a hotel room together, you decided to tell somebody in the justice system that he trespassed on your property on
explained all
February
that to
6th.
her.
All right. Well, I'm not interested in it. You just lost your
And I have
$2,000. Sir, and you just paid her $2,000 on your counterclaim. Do you understand? That means you get exactly what each of you deserve. Nothing. Goodbye. That's all.
Diane Cowan is suing her son, 23-year-old Kenneth Cowan Jr., for car payments and for stealing her tax refund from their shared bank account.
Mrs. Cowan, this is your son. Your lawsuit claims two things. First, that you had an arrangement with your son wherein he would use your car and make the payments on it while he was using it until he purchased his own car. You claim that with regard to that portion of your complaint, he did make some payments, didn't pay them all, and ultimately you sent somebody down, your fiance? Yes. Down to pick up the car because he had moved to a different state. So you want him to pay some $1,000 that he should have paid on the car. The second part of your complaint, which I really believe, based upon what I read, is what you're complaining about. You just tacked on her. Is that you and your son shared a joint bank account. At some point, he withdrew $2,000 from that joint bank account, and he withdrew that money, which was from your tax refund, because you claimed him as a dependent for last year. And he says he's entitled to that money because he was going to file his own tax return as a single individual, but since you had already claimed him as a dependent, he claimed himself. So he took the $2,000 because he said you weren't entitled to it, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct, Ms. Cowan, that but for the withdrawal from the bank, we wouldn't be bothering with any money he might owe on the car?
No, we had made a verbal agreement, and I told him that once he took the vehicle to Texas, that he would be responsible for the payments.
Did you have that agreement with your mother?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Fine. At that time, were you going to school, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you also working?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working full-time or part-time?
Part-time.
Who was supporting you?
I was on academic scholarship and receiving money from Pell Grants.
Did your mother send you any money?
She may have given me a total of $500.
Okay. Is it correct, Ms. Cowan, that for the year 2004, your son was basically self-supporting?
No.
Well, how did you support him?
Okay, by me being a disabled veteran, it took care of his 2 years of college.
Just a second.
Okay.
You're being a disabled veteran and the government picking up part of his tuition supported him, not you. Is it true that he was either self-supporting or on scholarships and or Pell Grants that he's going to have to return?
Yeah, he was on Pell Grants, but I supported him as far as sending monies for groceries or if he ran short.
How much money did you send him for the year 2004?
I would say over $2,000.
Show me.
I don't have it as far as monetary back. Most of the time I would always deposit it in my account because we shared account.
Can
I
see
have bank statements showing to where there were deposits made on the account, and these are the only cash deposits on the account are ones that I made.
How many times did you withdraw money from this account, Mr. Cowan?
Very rare, maybe once a semester, if that.
So this was primarily your bank account, that you used this bank account to pay your bills?
Yes.
Okay. You have a copy of your tax returns from last year, sir?
Yes, ma'am. My W-2s and my tax return.
So you had an adjusted gross income of a little over $5,600.
Yes, ma'am.
And according to your statement, if I believed you, which I don't, at most you sent your son $2,000.
Right.
That you were not entitled to claim him as a deduction because you didn't contribute more than 50% of his support. You were not entitled to claim him as a deduction.
Yes, but according to VA, if I had not claimed him as a dependent, then they would not have taken care of his bills. You know, I'm not a...
Just a second. Let us say that because of some regulation, you were required to claim him as a dependent. even though you did not contribute more than 50% of his support. Let's say that that's true. Then what you should have done was discuss it with your son and say, listen, for the purposes of the VA, so that you can continue to have all your classes covered or whatever percentage the VA covers, I have to claim you as a dependent. But I'm going to give you the $2,000. Wrong with that?
Well, I agreed to that, and
So then why are you complaining that he took the $2,000 out of your account?
because it was the procedures that he took. Now, he know normally there has not denied him of anything.
So you didn't like the fact that he did it in a sneaky way?
That's right.
Okay. She says she didn't like the idea that you were sneaky about it. Well, I think, Ms. Cowan, one of the reasons he might have been sneaky about it was because when he filed his tax returns, he filed them as an independent, and then he was told later that he was denied his refund because you had already claimed him as a dependent. Had your mother discussed the fact that she was going to claim you?
She had said she was going to try to claim me to recoup some money that I hadn't paid her on a car payment. She told this to my uncle.
Oh, well, I don't want to hear about the car payment. Listen to me, Ms. Cowan. As far as I'm concerned, you got a son that's doing the right thing. If you had a car and you let him take the car so that he could go to school and look for a job, that's what you're supposed to do. You're his mother. How many children do you have?
I have 2.
Okay, well, it seems to me this one is doing okay, which means that your mother probably did something right.
Yes, ma'am.
Should have done the right thing. Shouldn't have made this situation so mucky. Ms. Cowan, irrespective of what he did, you're still his mother. And I sometimes wonder whether I would have. I wonder. I would not have pursued this matter in court. I would have said to him, it's not the right thing to do. What's your first name?
Kenneth.
It's not the right thing to do, Kenneth. You shouldn't have gone behind my back and taken the $2,000 out of the account. I was prepared to give it to you, but you shouldn't have just taken it. I'm not so sure that you were prepared to give it to him because, according to you, he owed you some money on this car nonsense. Can't tell you how many cars I bought my children. If you had not claimed your son as a dependent, what would have been your refund?
I would have gotten $1,913 from
And
that.
how much did you actually get?
$29.13.
Yes, sir.
When I asked my mother for her tax return, I was going to return whatever she didn't get for claiming me. She sent me a tax return that said she only got $300 for me, which was false.
But you got $1,000 for you. Right. Is that what you want, sir?
Yes.
Then you have to give your mother back $1,000 because you took out $2,000 from her account.
No, I was supposed to get $2,000 back, and I was.
Listen to me. What your mother is saying is she was required by the VA to claim you as a dependent in order for you to get certain benefits. So, although if you filed for yourself as an independent, you would have gotten $2,000. If she didn't file for you as a dependent of hers, you wouldn't have gotten other benefits which far outweighed that $2,000. Are you following me?
Yes, ma'am.
So that you should not have taken out the $2,000 from the account because all she got by virtue of her claiming you as a dependent was an extra $1,000. So that's all you were entitled to. Are you following me?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. That's all.
David Boudreau says ex-girlfriend Valerie Kassler owes for rent and for stealing money from a shared bank account. Valerie says she was entitled to that money.
Mr. Boudreau, you and Ms. Kessler were involved in a relationship, according to what I read in your complaint, for a period of time, and did in fact live together.
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe she moved in with you,
Yes.
and you have children?
Yes, I do.
How many children?
I have a total of 4, and I have 2 that live with me.
So you moved in with Mr. Boudreau with your 2 children?
Actually, we got the place together. He was living at the time with his parents.
Did you sign a lease together?
I was the main person on the lease.
Then the answer is you signed the lease.
All our information was on there.
Who signed the lease? Raise your hand.
Both of us did.
Great. As joint tenants?
Yes.
Now, it is your complaint, Mr. Boudreau, that after the 2 of you separated, Ms. Kassler went to a joint bank account and she withdrew some money. That's $1,600.
Yes.
And she had not put that money into the account. That was your money because this was sometime after you had separated that she closed the account. Ms. Kassler has a variety of reasons why she believes she was entitled to that money, and she's going to explain that to me. When did you move into this apartment together?
November 22nd of 2003.
And when did you move out of the apartment?
May 14th, 2005.
So you lived together for some period of time.
Yes, ma'am.
And your arrangement was, according to what I read, that each of you would put in $800 a month to cover your household expenses.
Correct.
Correct.
When was the last time you put money in that account, Ms. Kessler?
April 3rd,
April of 2005.
2005. I apologize.
At that time, you were still living there, so that $800 covered May rent.
Actually, that was for April's rent and bills.
Is that right?
Yes.
What was the rent?
$1,100.
And your gas, electric, cable,
Correct.
whatever. So I would assume that at the end of each month, there wasn't much left over from this $800 a month. That $800 a month just pretty much covered the bills
Some
for each
months,
month.
yes.
Okay, good. Now, when did you withdraw this money, Ms. Kessler, from the account?
Took it all out. It was in June.
Now, Ms. Kessler, you knew that in June of 2005, it had been 2 months since you put any money into the account. And if there was money in the account, it was money that Mr. Boudreau had put in the account. Is that right?
Correct.
So now the ball got him to explain to me why you believe you're entitled to that money.
There were various months, which I have all written out here, that I put in over the $800 to cover the bills. And some months I put in extra to cover the rent because Mr. Boudreau was not working. And Mr. Boudreau also stated that when we moved with him to North Carolina, that if we were not happy, he would pay to move us back to North Carolina. I ended up having to pay to move myself back here. My son was a witness to a lot of these conversations. That's why he is here. But I ended up putting over $2,270 extra in that account to cover bills.
How much extra did Mr. Boudreau put in the account some months?
None.
What you're saying to me, twofold. What you're saying to me is twofold. That the reason you took that money out, stop playing with your papers, Mr. Boudreau. The reason you took that money out of the account is twofold. A, because you thought you put in more than your fair share during the course of the year and a half that you were living together. That's one. And two, if I don't buy that argument, you had to spend money to move you and your family back home, despite the fact that Mr. Boudreau had said that if things didn't work out, he would pay for your moving.
Yes.
Is there any other reason that you want to offer me why you closed that account and took out
Because
the
I
money?
wanted my name off of that account.
Okay. Is that the primary reason why you went to the bank?
I sent them a letter to close the account.
You have a copy of that letter?
Yes, I do.
Let me see the copy of the letter, please.
Right here. And then here's a copy of the email with the bank.
So the first thing that you did was
Send
when
them
you
an email.
separated. Okay. At least initially, I get the sense, Miss Kessler, that what you intended was just to have your name taken off the account. And if that meant that the account had to be closed and reopened in his individual name, that's what you wanted.
Yes.
And then you ask the question, well, what happens to the funds that are in the bank? Because the bank says, you can't just take your name off, the account has to be closed. And you say, well, then I want the account closed. And they say, well, okay, we'll send you the paperwork and you close the account because you can do that. And then they say, well, what do you want to do with the funds in the account? And you say, well, how are those funds going to be dispersed? And they say, they send you a check because you're the one closing the account and you put it in your bank. Right?
Mm-hmm. I tried contacting him, and he would not answer the phone.
What did you try contacting him for,
Just
Ms.
to
Kessler?
get my name off of there. And
All
then
right,
he sent
so-
me threatening emails, and I said, because I was going to let the extra money that I put into the account go, just to sever contacts with him. He sent me a threatening email, and I said,
Did he? Can I see it?
How
See
many
what
do you
happens when you're not nice, Mr. Boudreau?
Do.
You see what happens when you're nasty? You could have eliminated this whole thing if you weren't nasty. What'd you get nasty for?
Because those emails I sent, most of them were replies back to her she sent to me. I mean, she called me in 475 times in
Did
a little bit over a month.
You have the records
And
of that?
I have the records of that
I see
right
what
here.
you call him 475 times for.
When I first went down there, he had worked on my computer, and I was having computer problems. And some of those,
475 times?
and if you notice, some of those calls were made to the cell phone first, and because he did not answer the cell phone, I called the house phone.
475 times?
Well, I have emails here that
Miss
say,
Kessler.
why won't you answer the phone?
Kessler. 475
That's what it
times.
says.
That's harassing. All right, think about when he says nasty things to you.
I mean, before that, he had threatened my life.
This is disgusting, sir. I don't care what she said to you. I don't care if she called you 475. This is disgusting.
And I have a lot more with those words in them. He would say that to me in front of my children.
How long did he say that in front of your children before you moved out?
That's why I got out of there.
But he said it, listen to me. The first time, not the second time. The first time he used this language in front of my children.
Too long.
In front of my children.
Too long.
You're a tough girl. I mean, I read what you did.
Too long.
I read what you did. You're a pretty tough girl.
I should have got out longer than I did.
Absolutely right. One time, use this kind of language in front of my children, and I'd be gone. If you let him abuse your children that way, that's your problem. They're not his children. You know why you're here, Mr. Boudreaux?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're here because you have a big, fresh mouth. A big, fresh, nasty mouth. I mean, I never saw somebody string these expletives together in sentences like this. Don't you have any other way of expressing yourself, sir? Don't you have any other way of, in a civilized manner, expressing yourself?
I tried every way.
No.
I tried every way.
You think that saying it this, Mr. Boudreaux, you think that using this kind of language is going to get her to stop calling you? You think that this kind of language in a letter is supposed to inspire her to do things in a reasonable way?
I mean, 475 phone calls.
What did she want?
Emails, messages.
Mr. Boudreaux, what did she want from you, sir?
No, I have no idea.
What did you want
I
from
have
him?
no idea.
Shh, Miss Kessler.
Right now, my kids want their dog.
Shh. Forget the dog. Just go. Forget it. Go buy him a new dog.
I didn't want
I'm
anything
asking
from
you,
him. I wanted him to
so
leave me
what?
alone.
So what will you call it? Shh. Listen to me. What were you calling him for? Don't think. What were you calling him for?
At first, to get my computer straightened out, because he's the one that formatted it. And there were programs on there that I didn't understand how they worked, and he knew how they worked, and I was trying to get him to help me with them.
At first. After you didn't return your calls because he didn't want to talk to you. At first, then there has to be a second. What was the second reason that you called him?
Stupidity.
Right. And then you took his money. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,600. That's all.
18-year-old John Banks Jr. says 16-year-old Diana Helzer stood him up for his prom. Diana and her mother, Lori, are countersuing for the cost of summer school classes and defamation of character.
You are suing Mrs. Hessler because her 16-year-old daughter, according to you, stood you up for the prom.
Yes.
Your senior prom, and you had a lot of expenses, and you believe that her mother is responsible for her standing you up.
No, not necessarily, Your Honor. I don't
Well,
feel
she's
that.
responsible because you can't sue her daughter, so you have to sue her mother. Ms. Hessler says that her daughter did not stand you up, that you didn't do it, but she has a substantial counterclaim, and her counterclaim is that since you believed you were stood up for the prom, you have embarked upon a course of conduct that amounts to harassment and defamation of her daughter's character, which forced her to leave school because she flunked all of her finals, and it became a catastrophe, and she has a counterclaim. When did you invite Dana to the prom?
About May 20th?
Did you do it in person?
No, ma'am. I was introduced to her through a friend of mine. It was her best friend, and I was on the internet, and she instant messaged me. She sent me a message, and
Who did?
Diana.
Diana sent you a message.
Right.
Saying what?
Just starting a conversation, just, hi, my name is Diana, something to that effect.
So you didn't ask her to the prom?
I did. Eventually, I did.
In person or over the internet?
Over the internet and in person.
Is that right?
I don't remember him asking me in person to prom, no.
How do you believe he asked you to the prom?
Over the internet, we were discussing the fact that he needed to date, and he said, you know, do you want to go with me, basically?
And what did you say?
I said, okay.
You said, okay, so now you had a date. And you knew when you go to the same school?
Yes.
So you knew when the prom was?
Yes.
Okay. So you rented a tux.
No, I bought a tux.
Bought a tux. Figure stopped growing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Buy tickets?
Yes, Your Honor.
Rented a car?
No, I was gonna drive.
Okay. Tux, tickets. What else?
I also had dinner reservations. There was no fee for making the reservations, but there was for canceling reservations.
And what were all your expenses?
My expenses totaled to be, I believe, about $500 and some odd dollars.
Now, did you end up going to the prom, Mr. Banks?
No, ma'am.
Did not?
No.
Tell me what happened. What was the date of the prom?
Saturday, June 4th.
And just prior to June 4th, when had you last spoken with Diana?
June 3rd.
Where did you speak to her?
I spoke with her at school.
What did you say to her, and what did she say to you?
I informed her that I'd be getting everything ready. And
Did she tell you what color her dress was?
Yes, it was pink.
Did she tell you what kind of flowers she liked?
No, ma'am.
Did you get the flowers?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of flowers did you get?
I got a bouquet of roses, and I got a corsage and a hand thing. I don't know.
The whole 9 yards.
The whole 9.
Did you tell her what time you'd pick her up?
Yes, Your Honor. I told her I'd be there to pick her up at 4.
So what happened, Mr. Banks?
Saturday, I had been running around picking things up, doing everything, getting everything ready. I hadn't spoken with her, but I had been speaking with her best friend, the one that set us up, and my best friend, because we were going to double date to prom. I had been with her friend's date all day, and I was on my way to pick her up, and I got a phone call from her friend saying that she had an allergy attack and she couldn't go to prom.
What time was that?
I have to say about 3:50.
Go ahead.
I was getting ready for prom at about 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Got dressed, went and got my nails done, and I made my hair appointment, and went and picked up my dress. When I was getting my nails done, I did have an allergy attack, and I went home and I tried to call John after talking to my mom. I called him, and his sister answered, saying that he would be out with friends all night. So I decided, okay, I'm going to stay home for a while. A friend of mine called and said, Diana, or aren't you going to go to prom? And I said, no, I don't feel good. She says, would you like to come over, hang out, and we're not going to go do anything? And I said, okay. We ended up going over to another friend's house, just relaxing and watching movies the rest of the night, and we fell asleep.
Well, that's pretty outrageous, my dear Diana. That's pretty outrageous of you. You agree with that?
Yes, ma'am. You agree with I disagree.
Excuse me, I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to your daughter, whose conduct was outrageous. Now, if you have an allergy attack and you are bedridden, that's one thing. But to go over to a friend's house, hang out and watch a movie is something entirely different. And I would be angry too if I got stood up at the last minute.
I had not yet given my permission for them to go.
I don't care. Okay. Whether you gave your permission or not. Did she use her own money to buy the dress?
Yes, she did.
And you didn't know about it?
I did know about it.
All right. And when you found out about it, did you say to her, I haven't given you permission?
Yes, ma'am.
When she went to get her hair and nails done, did you say to her, don't bother to have your hair and nails done because I haven't given you permission?
What I said was I haven't yet met Mr. Banks and I haven't given my permission. I need to meet him.
Miss Helsa, it's not an excuse. I'm saying that your daughter's conduct was reprehensible for a 16-year-old. She stood him up for his prom.
Okay.
And she stood him up not because she was sick, because she decided she didn't want to go. And she went to a friend's house and hung out with friends. And that is reprehensible.
Is that what you did?
No. Is that what you did?
That is what I did.
You didn't know that?
Did you stand him up because you didn't want to go, or did you stand him up because you went and had an allergy attack and then went over to Julie's house?
It was because I had an allergy attack, and my friend had wanted me to come over because she knew I wasn't feeling well and wanted to hang out.
Listen to me. If you have a debilitating allergy attack, you stay home. Go ahead.
That Saturday was prom, June 4th. June 5th, I broke my rib. June 5th playing basketball, and so June 6th, I stayed home, which was a Monday. I called her best friend on the phone. We talked about it because she felt bad as well because she set us up together. And I decided to call Mrs. Helser. And we spoke on the phone for a while. She was a really nice lady, and she also felt that what she did was inappropriate. And I know that she's not legally obligated to pay me back because, it's an agreement to go to a social event, and that's not a contract. However, her mother being of age and me being of age, she did make a verbal contract over the phone, and I have a witness here. Her best friend is here to testify because she was on the phone when I called her.
What did her mother say?
We spoke about what Diana really did on prom night.
Well, what did you say to her mother? Her mother's here. She's a party. You can tell me what you said to her
I
mother.
told her that I had an agreement prom with her, and she informed me that she was aware of that Diana actually had an allergy attack, and I told her no, that Diana actually decided to spend the day with her boyfriend because I guess apparently she got a boyfriend that morning and he asked her not to go.
She got a boyfriend that morning?
Yeah, Saturday morning she got a boyfriend and she decided, and he asked her not to go. So
You know, and that's perfectly fine. But
Are you saying that somebody knows that? That you have a witness? here?
that I was on the phone and that she told her that, yes, I have a witness here.
I'd like to see the witness.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth in these matters?
Yes.
State your name for the record.
Kayla Brett.
Kayla, are you a friend of hers?
Not anymore, but I was.
Were you the girl who was supposed to double date with them?
Yes.
You had originally set them up? Did you have a conversation with Diana with regard to why she didn't go to the prom with him?
Yes, I did. I called her to make sure that she was ready to go because John was on his way, and she had informed me that she did not want to go.
Did she say why she didn't want to go?
She said she had an allergy attack, but as I continued to talk to her later on that day before my date came to pick me up, she told me that, or I think it was June 5th, that she told me she had spent the night at her boyfriend's house.
What boyfriend?
His name is Jason.
So she said she spent the evening with Jason.
Yes.
Prom evening with Jason.
Yes. She also had, there's a website called MySpace. I don't know if you're familiar. It's
I don't do that machine.
It's a website where you go and you can write journal entries on there, leave comments for friends, and post pictures up there. She had left a blog explaining what she had done that day, and she said that she was at a friend's house roasting marshmallows and she had spent the night there. That's basically confirmed that what she was doing, and I did have a conversation with her, and I was quite upset, and I told her everything, how messed up it was that she had done that.
That's pretty messed up. Did you tell your mother that? Look at me. Did you tell your mother you were going to spend the night with Jason?
I told my mom I was going to spend the night over at Julie's, and I told my mom that we were going over to Jason's to watch a movie. And
your mother just said the word Julie. I never heard your mother say Jason. Your mother was whispered to you, you went to Julie's.
I did go to Julie's, ma'am. We went over to Jason's, who was not my boyfriend.
Just a second. So from Julie's house, you went to Jason's house. Mm-hmm. Didn't have an attack in between getting from Julie's house to Jason's house, did you?
They're neighbors, no.
Didn't have an attack between Julie's house and Jason's house, did you?
No, ma'am.
And she did call me and checked in, and she called at midnight and let me know that they were just about to finish up a movie and that she would be back at Julie's by then.
When you spoke to Mr. Banks on the phone 2 days later, did you tell him that you would compensate him for his expenses?
No, ma'am, I did not.
What did you say to him?
I said I needed to see receipts.
So you did discuss expenses?
We discussed expenses.
Fine, and you said I needed to see receipts.
Before I would even consider a discussion.
I don't believe you.
Seriously.
I don't believe you. Yep, I believe that you said to him, I will pay those expenses, but I have to see receipts.
I have emails here where he's saying that I agreed to pay $270 for prom tight. Diana said, Diana said she's going to pay me $270 for prom. Hit me up. And then to Kayla, who responded, I say $300 even. What's an extra $30?
Listen, what I said to you was you had a discussion with Mr. Banks, and you are under no legal obligation. I don't believe you were under a legal obligation, but for the fact that you agreed to pay him.
I didn't agree to pay him.
Your Honor.
Just a second. In order to have a contract, Mr. Banks, let me explain something. It gets to be a bit tricky. There has to be, in order to have a valid contract, there has to be some consideration. That means that each person is giving something. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
What would be the consideration in your judgment for Miss Helser to make an agreement to pay you any part of your